Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the PGTK Podcast. My name is Emmanuel, and we have Hitt on this week. And we originally uploaded this on the scheduled release at noon today. However, there was a huge announcement that there were additional seating that's going to happen at Rhodes Wrestling Association's Texas Fall Fury, happening in Leander this Thursday. Tickets will go quick, and it will be on the show notes here on Spotify, as well as on the video description on the YouTube episodes. And Hitt really hyped up what's going to happen this Thursday. And we had a talk that it is sold out, but now that there's extra seating for the event this Thursday, be sure to catch those tickets before they go away. And without further ado, here is our episode with Hitt. How proud is it to have this heritage and being a wrestler of a Mexican-American heritage when you're doing things in your wrestling career?
I said about Eddie Guerrero being like my superhero, Mexican-American superhero. I want to be that for the people because I don't think that there's been a heavyweight Mexican-American superhero, right? Like that's been on the big stage. So for me, every time I step through that curtain, I'm not only representing me, but like my heritage, right, and where I come from. So it means a lot, and it's like something that one day I want to have on a big platform really express that and show the world that like, yo man, we got another superhero here. It's been a while, man.
There is Hitt in the house. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I'm doing great. You know, every day you wake up's a great day, so I'm having a great day.
Yeah, awesome. And it's nice because I got to see you through some matches, but let's go at the beginning. And, you know, for you at least, like what was the one moment that you yourself became a fan
of wrestling?
Yeah.
I guess my big brother. So like my mom originally got everybody into wrestling. So I have older brothers that are older than me, and they were huge fans. I was like probably like 2, 3, growing up and just playing with their figures and breaking them. So, you know, after breaking their figures and watching wrestling and all that good stuff, I kind of like developed a love for it. So like, I got maybe pictures of like me and like Stone Cold Steve Austin gear at like the age of like 4 or 5, and it just progressed. You know, it just kept going from there. But since I was a little baby, really, since I came out the womb, I guess I had an action figure in my hand.
Because like, what was like your match that kind of got you over as a fan, as a wrestling fan?
The match, okay, so I really couldn't understand much of it when I was a kid, but the moments kind of stood out to me, and I would like then whenever I'd watch wrestling, it always do like playbacks to like Stone Cold with the beer and like squirting somebody, you know, with the McMahon and all that good stuff. So that kind of like got me hooked, more to say, and then later on, like whenever I could actually start like understanding wrestling, I want to say like Triple H, man, that guy, I hated him, and Brock Lesnar too, because I was still kind of young. I was like, at that time, I was like probably 10 when he beat the crap out of Hulk Hogan. Oh, dude, I was mad. I was heated. So I guess Triple H really is what got me engulfed into it, and then like really seeing like the good guy get his ass whipped over and over again, and kind of like, I need to save him.
You're just drawn to the storyline at that point. You're like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, oh my, could this be Hogan's for last stint in the WWE?
Yeah, and then I guess I'll do one more moment. And Eddie Guerrero, man, that guy, dude, like, cause I'm Mexican, so like finally having like a Mexican superhero to like look up to, that really like kind of kept me like throughout my whole career, you know, like kind of like that's what kind of like, so whenever I first started, like that really kind of sent it over the edge, like seeing Eddie Guerrero light cheat still, all that stuff. It's very relatable to our community, and it was just something. It was cool, dude, to have like your own superhero, you know.
Because like I was thinking about that too. Like I know WWE, that's everyone's bread and butter. And have you ever seen your own show, whether it's live on an independent stage or just as a fan watching WWE, like have you ever had like live in person matches when you were growing up?
Oh, like have I seen them?
Yes. Like is there any shows that kind of got your attention besides watching TV?
No, so I was strictly TV, man. So it's like my family, you know, we really didn't like my mom was always working. She was a single mother of 4, so it's like I never really had time. So it's whatever I could watch on TV and video games. I love SmackDown vs. Raw, SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, Shut Your Mouth, all that good stuff. You know, so video games and watching wrestling. That's really like kind of like what opened the floodgate for me when it came to the whole wrestling thing. You know, it wasn't until I started like because I was born in the '90s. So it wasn't until we started getting internet, Wi-Fi, YouTube. I started to explore other options of different types of wrestlings. You know, but for me, I only knew WWE at the time, so it's like I just lived, breathed, and ate WWE, man.
When did your perception of wrestling, when you started to see that, oh, there is other promotions besides WWE, when did that hit?
I think it hit because like I was in San Antonio.
I'm sorry.
Hey. You see it, man. Every time someone says the word hit, I'm like, I joke like 3 times. I'm like, yeah, I'm like Beetlejuice. You say it 3 times, I appear in my gear, dude. Ready for a match. Nah, but I think that hit me. It was weird because like we were in San Antonio for like this like festival, and they were doing Ring of Honor. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I saw Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas outside taking pictures and autographs, and their line wasn't like super long. And Shelton Benjamin had like a nice car. It was like a black sports car. It was so nice. He gets out and he's like, I guess we got there kind of early. He's starting to set up and stuff, his little thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, Shelton Benjamin, oh my god, like like I haven't seen you guys on TV in so long. Where you guys been at? This and that. And they're like, yeah, we'll be on TV on I think it was CW or something. It was like local channel or something, or I don't know. It was a big deal though in San Antonio, and they're just kind of telling me that it's called Ring of Honor, this and that. I'm like, what is that, dude? Like,
wow.
I was like, what is Ring of Honor? You know, that I like legit, and I think I saw the pictures in here somewhere, but. Yeah, dude. So me and my little brother, we were like going nuts, but like Eric and people were just walking by, like nothing was happening. I'm like, bro, this is Shelton Benjamin. Like you don't like no one's stopping to even acknowledge this guy. Like I was mad. I was mad, but yeah, that's when it hit me. I didn't know until then. Oh, and then no, actually, that happened, and then I was looking for figures, and then one day I was in the aisle at Walmart, and this is like a true story. Like I'm going through my stuff, normal. And I look to my left and I see a Jeff Hardy figure, but it doesn't look like everybody else. It doesn't look like a Jax figure. It looks like just weird, like different ball joints and stuff. And he came with a ladder. I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Then I see a Devon Dudley. I'm like, what? That's cool too. I haven't seen them wrestle in a minute. And then I look at the packaging. It says TNA. So that's really kind of like so it was Shelton and Charlie Haas in that moment. And then I was like, well, then I started like deep diving into that stuff.
And being a fan and having your exposure watching wrestling, what was the moment you were like, you know what, I'm gonna do this wrestling thing?
Well, I've always I want to say joked about it, but this is something I've always wanted to do. We used to have and then in elementary school we used to have like books where you'd like write out what you wanted to do, and everybody's talking about being a basketball player, an NFL player. I would like say that stuff to kind of like, I guess, fit in, right? And then like one day I was like, man, screw this. I erased it, and like, because they're gonna publish it. So like leading up to the day of the publishing, it's like a book that they're gonna publish for the school.
Okay.
So like leading up to the day, I had it in my thing. I want to go to the NFL. Like that was my dream. It wasn't, but I just wanted to be cool.
Just to like hide, like
yeah,
I said it.
yeah, because like everybody loved. I don't know why. I just I didn't even watch sports really, so I just had to say it. But the last day I erased it, and I was like, yeah, I want to be like John Cena, Batista. I'm gonna be a WWE superstar. And like I misspelled every single word in the book and all that good stuff, but hey, it was a thought that counted. But yeah, that's what it was. It's since a baby since a kid really, it's what I wanted to do, and it wasn't until so I played college basketball, and it wasn't until my college basketball career kind of like was winding down, and like I was trying to figure like what's next. Like I like to compete, and I guess I'll get into the story of how it all happened. If you got time.
No, I mean, like I said, we're a canvas here. You're a Pollock or a Mona Lisa. The floor is yours.
All right, so we were just so it was like pre-COVID. I was doing like figure hunting as you can see behind me, I have a bunch of figures. Like I love figures, and we were at one of the figure stores in San Antonio. Kind of going through it. I'm hearing these two guys talk about wrestling, and then I'm like, "Oh, what's up, bro?" I'm like, we start doing like chopping it up and stuff like that. And then they look at me like, "Bro, you're huge. You should do wrestling." I'm like, in my head, I never thought about it. Like, as it like being serious, I felt like the people on TV or doing that stuff were like chosen, or like, like, oh, their family did it, so that's how they're in it, right? I didn't know you could go to school for that stuff or anything. And then they were like, "Yeah, dude, you should do it. You should come to the school." I'm like, "School? What do you mean school?" "Yeah, come sign up at the wrestling school." I forgot the names of the schools, but they were like, kind of like one guy was for the school, for this school, one guy was for this school, and they're like kind of like, "No, come to this school, come to this school, come to this school." I'm like, I wasn't even from San Antonio, so I was like, "Oh, that's cool, bro, whatever, right?" Then I kind of like go home, and I'm starting to think about it. I'm like, I think I'm gonna do this. So I started Googling like schools, like what's the best wrestling school in Texas. I brought up Booker T's, brought up Hybrid, brought up AEW, like all these wonderful schools. And I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe one day I'll do this. And I'm about to like sign up for one of the schools, and then kind of COVID hit like right after that. So I was like, so kind of give me like a little break. And once things started opening up again, I was like, okay, let me see what's going on. I go back on to start researching schools again, and before I even do that, I guess I guess Big Brother's watching, right? So I was on there like doing that stuff, and then one day a Facebook ad popped up for Dustin School, and then I was like, you know what? And it's like every school that I wanted to go to was pretty far from where I lived at the time, so it didn't make any sense. But Dustin School was like right up the street, almost, and I was like, man, let's give it a go.
Because it's interesting, because being under the same roof with Dustin, who's had an extensive amount of experience doing TV wrestling, what was your first impression of him when you met him? As you got to know Rhodes Wrestling.
First impression of Dustin is like, oh, he's like me. Like he I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. Like he loves it. He loves wrestling. He loves to joke around. And he really wants the best for the wrestling industry as a whole, But that's the first thing I thought of. Like he's funny. Like the first thing he saw me, like he's like, whoa, shit. He's like, you're big. I'm like, what's up, dude? And he's not a small guy either. Because I said the exact same thing about him. Like, bro, I thought you were way smaller than what you look right now. He's about 6'5". He's big, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, but that's my first, like, the first thing I ever thought about Dustin was like, bro, he's so cool. He's like, he's just like me, bro. He's like, he's not a mean guy. He's super loving, super genuine, and he really wants the best for you,
What was your first bump like?
First bump, it was scary, because it's like, you never, how you say it, you're not prepared for wrestling until you start doing it. So I couldn't say you can never really be prepared for it. So my first bump was just like, I didn't trust myself, because I know it's going to hurt. I know it's going to suck. And the thing with a bump is like, it's going to suck. But if you don't trust your body, it's going to suck a whole lot more. So for sure, there was a couple bumps in there that sucked a lot worse than the first couple, than the later on ones I took. But the first bump sucked, and they still suck. But, when you trust yourself to suck a little less,
Because like now going through that training, and I heard it's a very short training regimen. Like within that span of time, how fast did you pick things up within that time period?
Well, a lot of the compliments I got was that I picked up super fast. Reason being is because like I lived and breathed it, like I ate it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like I did everything in my power. Like before I even started becoming a wrestler, I didn't know that I was already becoming a wrestler. If that makes sense, So like I would have matches with my family, with my brothers. We would like do backyard stuff. I wasn't good at any of that stuff like compared now, but like I kind of knew what wrestling's supposed to be in a sense. So once I learned the fundamentals, it's kind of like how you say, what it's supposed to be, I don't know if that makes sense or not. Like you watch it, you get trained really good, and it's up to you to kind of paint the canvas the way that you think it's supposed to be painted. But there's a way to do it, So I that's why I progressed pretty fast.
What was the advice that you got that stuck with you? Like when you got through your graduation certificate, when they handed you that saying I'm a pro wrestler, was there any advice that you got, whether it's Dustin or your peers or like the coaches that were there during the Rhodes during at Rhodes?
Well, the one thing that stuck with me is Dustin. This to me is like the most like important advice ever. It's like now it's time to like really work and go hustle. You know, you can't stop learning, you can't stop hustling. He's like, you might not learn everything from me. Go out there and find it. You know, he's like, I'm here for you. I'm always gonna be here for you. But at the end of the day, to be the best wrestler, you have to go out there and hustle. And never stop learning. So that was like his main like, I guess, advice he gave to me. He told me I have a bright future ahead of me as long as I keep my head on straight, as long as I keep learning and hustling, the sky's the limit. So that's what I've been doing ever since.
Because one interesting aspect too is I did watch a lot of the showcases over at the Rhodes Wrestling Academy YouTube. How did that help you become a wrestler on TV as you started to really know what you're getting into the business?
So the way it helped me a lot, I guess I really didn't like fully grasp the concept of it, so I started doing more indie shows and going out there and working a lot more. It's that TV wrestling is a lot different. You focus on like hard cameo angles, of course, right? You do that in the indies too. But when it comes to TV stuff, a lot of times it's not catered to the fans that are there in attendance. It's catered to the fans that are watching, On the indie show, you can interact with the crowd a lot more than you can on the TV taping or a show like Dustin's that's like a film that is school, It's really much more to like perform and entertain the people who are watching at home, And sometimes it doesn't translate the same when it comes to like the crowd not being involved. Sometimes you don't think you're doing a good job because there's no crowd there. But until you get online, they're like, oh man, y'all killed it, So it's just different. It's just different because you're not wrestling for the audience, You're wrestling for you are, but you're wrestling for the audience at home, not in the building. I'd say that's the biggest difference.
When you're starting to learn how to work the hard game, how to work with the different angles, do you remember your first match doing it?
Yeah,
as a TV taping.
100%, and it was rough, like for me because I want to say rough because like I guess I would say the word rough. Rough being that I'm still like I was greener than I am now. Trying to remember to like, this is like where hard cam's at. This is like this is like the best way to do this, or like like everything. Just there's little nuances in wrestling that I was still picking up, but in my head I was telling myself, and then you add the element of TV and all that stuff, and then you're worried about that, and then you're worried about that, and then you're like, it's not second nature yet, So that was like the biggest hurdle I had on my debut. I loved it. I had a blast. The debut, it was what it was, and it was awesome for me. And but yeah, that was the hardest part. You're fresh. Like for me, I didn't have any other training besides Dustin at the time. Just Dustin. Right. So trying to soak in everything he's given me and taught me, on top of camera angles and listening to the referee and all that kind of good stuff. So it was a lot to take in at one time. But after you watch it and break it down, you're able to kind of like, like, okay, it wasn't too bad.
And to go out into the road, and what was your first booking outside of Rhodes as an independent wrestler?
Man, it was BOW. They've always looked out for me, and I love them.
Wow, like, really?
Yeah, dude. That was my first booking ever, and like it was like it was kind of gradual. So I came out and I helped out my boy Slim 7 at the time. He's dead now, so RIP Slim. But yeah, I was with my boy Slim and helped him win a championship, or it was like a Money in the Bank cash-in, and then like kind of so. Then after that, I had my own booking. I think my first like singles match or my second singles match ever was against Rodney Mack, and I learned a lot from him too. Just being in the ring with someone that's like way better than you, So it's like someone a lot more experienced, things like that. They're teaching you as you're wrestling. It was awesome for me. We tore the place down, and that kind of gave me like for myself, the validation that all the training I've been putting in, all the work I've been doing, like I know what I'm doing, having that match and like really like with someone who's a veteran who's been on TV and who's had a contract, and being able to have a good match, it was validation for me. And again, that was at BOW, man. They were with me whenever I was just starting out, and now that I'm getting better.
How much did that training stuck with you when you went over to BOW?
To wrestle, it was good because like me, I've never stopped training. So like, I've been training since I started at Dustin's. I keep training with Dustin. It was how do you say it? It wasn't at the time. It wasn't anything different because it's like clockwork. I just train around the clock. Like I train. So like, let's say for me, for instance, especially at that time, if I had one show a month, I was training at least 20 days out of the whole month, maybe more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I've always trained. So it's always like I feel like if I don't train, maybe I have more time for mental errors. So I've always been the one to like train as much as I can.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool because like going out to different cities and going through different territories. One thing that kind of came to mind for me because I was there watching the show was at Apocalypto with Baracho Pro. Like, was that your debut? Did you have other matches leading up to it?
No, that's my debut. That was the first time
Really?
ever.
Okay.
Yeah, and the crazy story about that is I was wrestling at a Marty Green show. Like it was just like a show in what did I say? It's like some like traveling show in the sun, like 100 something degrees, like 105. I wrestled three matches in a row. It was crazy. And one of the promoters kind of like looked at me like, "Hey man, you want to come out?" I'm like, yes, dude, I do. So that's how I got there. But I digress.
Like working with Levi Lucas on that debut, leading up to it, did you had nerves coming in, or you just kind of came in guns blazing, leading up to it?
Yeah, kind of like I'd say more. How you say it? More prepared, more than anything. I feel like
Okay.
I've been taking every booking I could to get better at my craft. I've been training my ass off, like 5 days a week. And I figured like whether my match goes good or bad, I know I'm putting in work to get better, right? So going into that show, I felt good. I felt like it was something that like it wasn't. It was just for me. It was a matter of time of happening, and having a good and being able to be put on a bigger platform like Baracho, which is I love Baracho Pro. That show's amazing. But so I felt more prepared. I guess that's the correct word to use, prepared.
Okay.
I felt prepared for it.
One thing I noticed is those chops with
Levi.
Levi.
Yeah.
The first hit that I got and I heard it, I swore the walls were going to collapse.
Yeah.
It's that loud. But like to have this hard hitting style that you have coming into it, how did that get to that point? Being the hard hitter, being the brawler of
the
a
heavy hitter
that you're doing.
They call me the heavy hitter.
That's the way of saying a heavy hitter. How did that get to that point?
It got to that point just by listening to the crowd and I can do a lot of the stuff that everybody else can do, but what's going to separate me? What's going to separate me from the rest? And not everybody's born with my size and my impressive stature. So use it to my best advantage, right? I remember how it came about. We did a Dojo Wars with DAW All Pro, another place that's awesome. And I was wrestling, I think his name Dylan. Yeah, and I gave him a chop, and the chop echoed through the whole arena. Like I chopped him twice. The first one, boom, it sounded like a gunshot. The second one, I chopped him again, and the people who were outside, like weren't watching the show, they're kind of like just like whatever, doing their own thing, ran inside to come to see what was going on. Yeah, yeah, dude. And then I go when the match is over, they're like, "Yeah, but people were running in there to go see the match." And one of my homies at the time, he was like, "Yeah, but we all know it was you." Like so they're like cheering me on. They're like, "Bro, let's just hit out there whooping somebody's ass." But that's kind of how the whole heavy hitter thing started. Because it's like me, it's like I am big. I can hit really hard. I can do some super athletic stuff that not everybody can do. But for me, core to my strength, like what's in my soul was hitting hard, dude.
Because like it's interesting. Who did you have anyone in mind that kind of influenced that heavy hitter character that you have?
Yeah, I want to say Triple H. I love Triple H and a little bit, and Brock Lesnar, and more recently, I can say Gunther. Gunther, like it's like you look at their matches and you look at their work, and they were all impressive in their own right. But one thing sticks out the most, and it's that they're beating the crap out of people, dude. They are just killing them, and it's like you. If you could sprinkle a little bit of Triple H, a little bit of Brock Lesnar, and some Gunther in there, I think you're doing all right. I'm not saying I'm on that caliber, but that's who like kind of inspired me to really like be a heavy hitter.
You're parallel to them, basically. You're parallel to them. Now we're doing a different angle now. Now that you're a wrestler, like what matches did you like watch tape and do a film study that kind of led to that being a heavy hitter as a wrestler?
Man, honestly, I left one out. Takeshita. Oh my god, dude, that dude can go. Yeah. Dude, yes, that's what it is. I'm like that. I saw him. I watched the Real Ospreay match he had. That was a banger. But it's like everything he does, it's like super like he works really like athletic, right? You see him like hang with the best of them when it comes to athleticism. But the one thing that sticks out to you the most is when he just fucking lays someone out. Boom! Or you hear that smack whenever you like crack somebody in the head or something. Like that, dude. Like that's man. Him and Will Ospreay was good because he's another one that can hit. He's like a little underrated because he's very flippy and stuff. That's what they say. He has a different style, but he can hit hard too, dude. So it's like that's what I like. And seeing them go at it was insane. Like, but yeah.
And that was the match too that you kind of looked to during, what was that, Full Gear?
What was that? A Revolution, I think.
A Revolution. It's Revolution. Yeah. So I was like, my dictionary went through the roof when you mentioned it.
Hey, I'm the same way. Sometimes people are like, "Yeah, remember '99 at SummerSlam?" I'm like, dude, I don't know. I just remember them beating the shit out of each other. I don't know what day.
There's so much wrestling in 1 year. It's like my encyclopedia is like basically this big now. Yeah. So it's like, what the heck is going on? But
I can tell you what happened. I just can't tell you the date.
Yeah, exactly. I know them. It's somewhere inside there too, and I'm like, oh, there it is. But you mentioned AEW, and I was at that Dynamite actually when that taping happened this year. And what was it like seeing stuff like what was it like seeing the preview of the big leagues? And facing against your mentor and the Von Erichs, that one was kind of mind blowing.
Oh yeah, dude, whenever we had our whenever I wrestled Dustin and the Von Erichs, it was insane. It was something that like you can only like for someone like me at that point in time, you could only dream of, So like if my wrestling career was to end, like I would be happy because I got to wrestle my mentor. Someone who trained me from like the ground up, right, and really got me my start in wrestling. And then someone like legendary, like the family of the Von Erichs, it was just like something you just can't like. For me, you can't script, you can't really write that, And it was, to me, that was awesome. And then seeing like the whole production side and seeing everything like the big leagues, it's like when I stepped there and I started looking around and seeing everybody, it was like, okay, I felt like I was meant to be there, So I felt like I need to be here. I need to be doing something with AEW or WWE, something like that. That I want to be in the big leagues too. Like this is where I'm coming. I will be here one day.
Right.
So like, if anything, to give me more of a fire under my ass to stay. Because I love having. I'm very blessed to have been able to wrestle my mentor and the Von Erichs. But at the end of the day, it's like I don't want it to just stop there. Like, yes, if everything, like, if my career ends right now, I'm blessed. I'm happy. I got the rest of my mentor. That's up. But at the end of the day, it's like I can see more for myself, and I see me being in the big leagues too.
What was it like backstage?
It was insane. Like, you really get to see the madness. It's like it really is. People say it's like a big indie show, and from a certain standpoint, it kind of is, dude. Like, people are running around. It's a lot more organized. But people are running around trying to, like, they need him for this, they need him from that. people are working on gear. The catering is awesome. That's the one thing, man. Like it. Hey, that catering
I
is something
heard
different.
stories about that. Like, this is like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, the catering is something different too. So, but it just seeing what it takes to run a well-oiled machine. The talent in the back was very, very nice, especially the young guys. So, like, if a lot of the AEW vets would come up to us, like, they weren't mean or anything like that. We can ask them questions, and they give us their input, their advice, things like that, what we should do, and they're very easy to talk to. So, it was great, to be honest. Every time I go, or if I do wrestle, I don't wrestle, I always get something out of it. I always learn, and that's the most important thing to me. So it's awesome, dude. Really, if any wrestler ever gets a chance to do any extra work for AEW, WWE, or any of the big companies, man, it's a blessing. It really is, and hopefully you guys take advantage of it and learn as much as you guys can.
What was like the AEW star that stood out to you when you talked to them?
I think I want to say maybe Claudio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because he's huge. He's just as big as me, but a lot leaner and a lot more shredded, right? So
Yeah.
he's a big guy and very imposing, dude. And it's like he was the nicest guy ever, And he was like kind of like, from the experience I had, it was much more like he was like he wanted people to come ask him questions. I don't know if he's like that all the time, but from the experience I had, like he was cool with like I was kind of like he like was like, hey, who wants to learn? He was cool. Who else? Who else? I don't know. I think they're all. I don't know.
Claudio
I've
stood out to you.
just because he's so like, it's just different. He's huge, He's a big guy, and he kind of just like, yeah, he stood out the most, I think.
Because now, we're moving on to a bit more and working with United 210, and the match you had with Brick, I got to see some previews of it. To see someone in the indies who's that far in their career and where your level is, what was it like being in the ring with someone like a Brick Savage?
It was awesome. It was something like that. I've been thinking about like for a long time. I've been wanting to wrestle Brick for a while, man. And it's like, to me, it was something like say it's just something that I've been wanting to kind of test my metal and see where I'm at and things like that, and kind of see what he's doing, because he's right now he's at the top of his game. Brick is that dude, and he's gonna probably stay that dude as long as he keeps doing what he's doing. And just being, again, it goes back to learning, man. Being in the ring with them and just learning more than anything. That's like, for me, that's the number one focal point I could take away. Like, especially someone like that who's already like doing their damn thing, and it's like, it's pretty. Just get what you can, learn what they can. I was excited, I was hungry, I was ready to go, and yeah, dude, it's more. It's like next time we meet again, if it happens again, he whispered some freaky shit in my ear, so it might happen again. I'll test to see where I'm at then. It's kind of like a checkpoint if we ever do get to work again.
What was like the feedback that you got from him after the match?
Just nothing bad. It was just like we're beating shit at each other. It was cool, dude.
I think that's the ultimate feedback right there.
Yeah, I was like, everybody was happy. I was happy. We're chilling. Like, shit. We did our thing. We went out there. Different because at that United show there was a battle royale. There's a bunch of stuff going on. So it was very like, and I was in a battle royale, so I was very like, boom, 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 like, do my thing. Go out there whipping ass.
Yeah, what's interesting too, because we have the Rhodes Wrestling Association. We have the show on the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it like going back to your stomping grounds over at the academy now that you have like this knowledge of learning your craft as a wrestler?
Oh yeah, well before then it's like I've been, so since debuting on stuff, I've been able to like really like work my ass off. How you said, pick up a lot of knowledge. Like right now, I train at Hybrid. I'm over there and fucking learn as much as I can. The trainers there are amazing. Marvel, DJ, Funaki, they're awesome. The students, the graduates, like hybrid system is it's amazing, dude. I can't put them over enough either. So being able to like kind of like go back to what Dustin said, hustle, learn as much as you can. Hopefully that translates whenever I do go back, and he's like, he's like, man, he's proud of me, in a sense that I'm out here doing my thing, because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing, and it's not like so I still train at Dustin's too. I don't do the camps. So Dustin's really like 4 days a week for the camps, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go do I'll pop in once whenever it's like how you say it when he needs me, he'll give me a call and I'll be there. So whenever he needs me, he gives me a call. I'll go there, and whenever he needs me. But he hasn't seen me wrestle in a minute, so hopefully he's like, "Oh man, you're doing some good stuff. I'm proud of you."
And it's funny, like the first show on the 21st, it's wild that it went sold out very quick. When you saw that post saying, "Hey, this show is sold out," what are your expectations coming into the show on the 21st?
I'm expecting bangers, like from the beginning to the end. Like we're this is our first ever show to the public. A lot of eyes on us. A lot of talented people in the crowd. You got my brother Ozzy. Got that boy, my brother Vin Parker. Who else? A CD. People that haven't really been looked at either yet. Haven't had haven't had the spotlight on them yet. Are gonna get showcased, and that'll be awesome, dude. So I'm expecting nothing but good things, but bangers. I'm expecting something different for Austin, the city, for not just for Rhodes, but just in general wrestling the community. To have another show to go to. Hopefully, some of the other Austin area people get to work that show. That'll be awesome. It'll be great. It's good for wrestling as a whole, and it's good for Austin as a whole because there's so many promotions now. Austin's kind of like popping off right now when it comes to wrestling. There's a bunch of promotions. So I think it'd be good for Texas. Let's make it even bigger than that. It'd be good for Texas. So I think I'm expecting it to be banger, banger, banger. And I'm expecting it to be something beautiful for Texas wrestling.
And throughout your career and having a Mexican American heritage and to carry that with you as a wrestler, how proud is it to have this heritage and being a wrestler of a Mexican American heritage when you're doing things in your wrestling career?
It's to me, I feel like I don't play into it enough. I wouldn't say play into it. I don't showcase it enough how much it means to me. I need to figure out a way that doesn't look like very to really showcase that because because that's not Hitt. That's not me. That's but I gotta express it my own way, right? So I'll figure that way out. But it means a lot, and we talked about. Remember earlier, I said about Eddie Guerrero being like my superhero, American superhero. I want to be that for the people because I don't think that there's been a heavyweight Mexican American superhero, right? Like that's been on the big stage. So for me, every time I step through that curtain, I'm not only representing me, but like my heritage, right, and where I come from. So it means a lot, and it's like something that one day I want to have on a big platform really express that and show the world that like, yo, man, we got another superhero here. It's been a while, man, and there's a bunch of people in Mexico, luchadors, WWE, that are putting on for the culture and putting on for our race and putting on for wrestling and lucha libre and all that as a whole. But to have a big dude who's like 6'7" and like it just hasn't really happened yet. It's like I haven't seen like a big heavyweight like that in a long time. I mean, it's happened, but just not in a while. So it means the world, and it's something that like I feel like there's a lot of pressure on me too sometimes. Not when it comes to wrestling, but much more to like kind of like put on for the culture.
You know who you are as a person and as an identity of being Mexican American, and it can that pressure can turn into a reward if it's done right.
100%. I'm built for pressure. That's why I don't mind it. Give me all the pressure. So I just me figuring it out and being able to make it my own and not try to rip off anybody. That's not what I do. I want it to come organically. And I want it, whenever it happens, to be magical, right? Everybody knows I'm Mexican. If they don't, they think I'm like Persian or Middle Eastern because I'm so big and just like my facial features or
Yeah.
whatever. But whenever it does come to light, whenever I'm able to express it more and really bring it to light, and the way Hitt will bring it to life and express it, I think it'll be beautiful.
And it's funny you mentioned with Eddie Guerrero too, like for you to be in that, man, maybe a kid at at an indie show, they'll be like, "Oh crap, you're Mexican American." I'm not gonna say crap if it's a kid, but it's
I got you. I got you. Yeah.
To have like someone who's young and looked up, he's like, "Oh, you're Mexican American." Okay, let me there's representation too, because now they got to see someone who's in the same culture and upbringing that you have. So that's like the ultimate goal.
100%, dude. 100%. Even like whenever I do go out, step out, a lot of little kids are like, "You're a wrestler," because like I still live in an area called Little Mexico. That's kind of like what they dubbed it because there's a bunch of Mexican, American, or just Latin people in the same kind of like area living together. And they always come up to me and they think I'm so cool. And so I'm like, "Oh, thank you guys." I'm like, and when in reality, I think they're so cool for cheering for me or coming up to me asking for a picture or something. So yeah, dude. But
That's nice.
I feel that.
And the year's drawing to a close. What are you looking forward to now that the year is almost wrapping up?
I'm looking forward to laying down the foundation and the groundwork for 2025. Everybody's always having like, what is it, New Year's resolutions, things like that. Well, I don't really have a New Year's resolution. I kind of have like a statement of what I want to say. And what I'm saying is I've already put the work in from when I started wrestling, which is like 2022, right? All the way till now. That foundation has been laid. The people know me. I'm starting to get I'm starting to get like a little buzz, right? And finish out this year strong. Lay down like, I guess it fits like a highway, right? Lay down the last piece of go over with the asphalt one last time, let it dry,
right.
And then 2025, we're out here driving fast as hell, fast as we can, dude, doing our thing and trying to put on the best shows for the fans and make a name for myself.
And and I can say this other question too. When you look back at the current year, what would you describe your year up until this point?
That's up and downs, man. Roller coaster. With wrestling as a whole, it's been beautiful. I think I've used the word like 1,000 times, but I'm gonna keep saying it because I love it. Wrestling's been great to me. The up and downs come from like the other stuff, like life stuff, and but wrestling's always been there for me. So I would say it's a roller coaster ride because every time I seem to come down, wrestling picks me back up, right? And if wrestling's going down, something else will pick me up. So it's like it's just a roller coaster ride, and it's a ride that I love. But one other way to describe wrestling would probably be I'll do one more. Awesome. I don't know. It's like something you can't describe really if you're being honest with you. Like when we go through hell, we put our bodies through hell. People might think it's for no reason, but at the end of the day, like you can't describe the feeling you get when you're out there performing for people. So it's just something that I don't know. It's beautiful. I just say it's beautiful, dude. I went from little backstory. I went through like Dustin. I love the guy. Training there, all that good stuff. Had some stuff happen. Not with him. Like I'll just say, I'll give you I got in a car accident. I busted up my knee. My knee's okay. It's 100% now. Thank God. Thank you, Lord. And then going from that low to like kind of like you're like right here coming up. I haven't even hit my peak. I'm still laying like earlier the foundation, and then kind of have that roadblock thrown in your way. And then kind of like you're like kind of an idle. And then you kind of get over that, overcome that, so like it's just overcoming a lot of stuff and yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling now, but yeah, I've just been overcoming stuff. That's all wrestling is, and wrestling's always been there for me. So anytime.
What would you think are some highlights for this year?
This year, oh dude, AEW wrestled my coach. Yeah, that was awesome. Highlights from the year, also too, meeting a bunch of family and friends from now. Like when I first started wrestling, I felt like I had I had my like my circle, like picture my circle of all the wrestling homies, and I feel like it's getting like bigger and bigger and bigger. Like I'm more of like wrestling, especially on the Indies in Texas. I don't know where. I'm sure it's like that everywhere else. We're coming like I'm coming to realize it's more like a family, dude. So being able to like travel and like meet people, those are all my highlights. Being able to go to Hybrid and train there, being able to be at Dustin's and train there, being able to be on shows. It's a privilege, dude. It's something that I don't take for granted. Meeting people, meeting fans, taking pictures with fans, like I don't know. I just say the whole community of wrestling. That's my highlight. I guess if I'm not like the big stuff AEW, like I love that stuff. Being backstage or working with WWE, all that stuff is amazing. But the bare bones and why I do this and the highlights of wrestling for me is the people.
Okay, that's pretty cool. And I always end this conversation. Thank you so much, Hitt, for having you on. It's
thank you for having me.
I've been watching and we've been talking a lot of stuff backstage. I think the last time we were in Inspire, and I was like, you know what? Let's get you a spot down the line. Let's put you because your career has been pretty cool too. Because when I saw the AEW Dynamite taping, and I was watching it, and Shimbashi was there.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, this guy looks familiar. Oh, shoot, it's Hitt. Oh, my God, he's there. Seeing where your career is heading, you got to see a sneak peek of what's happening in the big leagues this year. So I keep going. It's always upward from there. And
100%.
Things will always go up.
That 100%. That's like a model I live by. It's like, like for me, like I've already like AW that I've already experienced it. So how you said, we're only going up from here, baby. We're doing it.
Exactly.
We're doing it.
I'll end this conversation with this. And if you were in the same room as an adolescent you, what would you like to talk to him about, or what advice would you give?
The advice I like to give him, if it was me talking to myself, younger self, would be, be yourself. It's okay to be yourself and find yourself, like, no matter what situation, be yourself. If they don't like you, if someone doesn't like you, it's okay. No one has to like you. Not everybody has to like you. But it's better to be yourself and live your truth than lie, And that's something that I've really, kind of growing up, I've really matured and came and brought into my own, I am me, and that's who I am. I think that takes people far. So that's what I would tell him myself. And keep dreaming. And, dream big. You got to dream big to win big, baby. So be yourself, dream big, and hustle.
There you go. So I have nothing left to give. Where can we find you? And the 21st is almost here. Give us a hype reel on what the fall show at Rose Wrestling Academy is going to be.
You can find me on Instagram at @thereal_Hitt, and Hitt spelled with 2 T's. That's pretty much what I use. And you can find me on Twitter at big_HITT_. I know, man. I have a bunch of underscores. I'm a gamer. I used to be a gamer, so I underscores for everything. But okay, so picture this, man. First time ever, right? Dustin Rhodes Wrestling Association, RWA. Boom, we're already there. We're gonna have championship qualifying match. So it's gonna be between Ben Parker and Ozzy. If you don't know who they are, man, they're same as me. They're up and coming. They're amazing. They're when you picture someone with a lot of potential, those two guys right there, they have unlimited amounts of potential. They're gonna clash, dude. They're gonna beat the crap out of each other. Winner gets a face CD in the main for the new championship, because there's gonna be 2 championships. One's gonna be the new men's heavyweight championship, and one's gonna be the women's championship. So 2 brand new belts. No one's ever seen them before. They're gonna be displayed that night. The winner of the first match wrestles CD in the main. Then you got me versus Lucas Chase. I've already held the belt once for Dustin, not the newer one, but the one he had before. And the guy I'm wrestling, Lucas Chase, he was the first ever champion, so that's gonna be a banger. And if you don't think that we don't want that championship just as bad as everybody else, then you got something else coming. Because at the end of the day, man, we all want that top spot. So in order for us to do that, we got to beat the crap out of each other and try to get one up on each other, right? So we're gonna be battling for that. You got the women's match, Vert Vixen, Sophia Rose, and JL, I want to say. And that's going to be a banger. Y'all seen Vert Vixen all over the place. She's going crazy. Yep. Sophia Rose has been at OVW training and doing her thing. So she'll be coming back. And then JL's been all over the place. I just saw her recently at Rose, so she's doing big things. So that'll be a banger. And we have a couple other matches. I'm sorry, I don't know the whole card completely.
It's fine. You got the highlights.
Yeah. But we got a couple other matches that it's gonna be like this show is gonna have wrestling for everybody. It's gonna have the basic what you like WWE style match. It's gonna have an AEW style match. It's gonna have a New Japan style match. Like this card is full with a bunch of people who have different styles and bring different things to the table. So I think that if you love wrestling and you really love it, you gotta be there on the 21st. And if you're not, actually you can't. It might be sold out, but next time
it is sold out. But I'll
yeah, to the next show. But and you can follow on social media. I think they're gonna. I don't know where they're streaming it at. I don't know if they're gonna keep doing the YouTube thing, but just be on the lookout for that, man. If you haven't already, follow their Instagram page at Rhodes Wrestling Academy Rhodes Wrestling Association, and follow their YouTube page at the same because they drop stuff on there all the time.
Yeah, and we're seeing something new with the Texas wrestling scene, and like Rhodes is part of a big crop too. I mean, we have Inspire, we have AEW, we have and we have parts in San Antonio, we have Hybrid, we have RCW. So like this is another addition to watch wrestling wherever you're at. Now, sadly, it is sold out. I'm gonna have to say that, but on their next shows, definitely give them a follow, and Hitt will be in this card. So
and just one more selling point too. It's on a Thursday. You don't got nothing to do on a Thursday, anyways. There's no football going on. There's no other wrestling shows. You just go. It's good. I think Thursday's a phenomenal day in my opinion. I never thought about it, and that's why I'm not a promoter. But I think that Thursday shows me something special, something different. We're not competing with anybody. We're doing our own thing, and it's awesome.
There you go. So we'll end our conversation here. Thank you so much, Hitt, for having you on, and thank you so much for tuning in. And we will see you on the next one.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Later, bro.